Hi everyone, this is Selvi. Today we are going to discuss about an interview question. Can we estimate exploration stories and enablers? Before getting into the discussion and answer, let's try to understand something about spike. We already discussed about spike in our previous episodes. When we will be creating a spike and why we cannot estimate the spike, that we need to understand here. Spike is a work item that can be created in cases where we need to start the work, but we are not so clear about all the uncertainties what we have in that work. So when we have lot of uncertainties, we are not having clarity, and when we don't have the complete picture about that work, or when we don't have the right information about the work, we need to prepare a spike. So what that spike will be doing, that spike is going to help us to collect the details or explore the options or research on the topic to prepare all the details that will give us a picture about the work what we need to do. So the outcome of the spike will give us a fair understanding and also the details on what are the things that we can do so that those uncertainties can be eliminated. So after the spike, the actual development work item or the implementation related work item will be created, which actually we can estimate because we don't have uncertainties in that. This is one situation where we will be creating a spike. What is the another situation? When we have too many options, when we have different options to fix a problem, we don't know like what will be the best option to fix that problem. So we want to give a try and research on those options and come up with a kind of comparison which option is better one from the other. So in those kind of cases, we can also use spike. So now the spike outcome will give some kind of comparison document that will give us a good understanding what are the two options and which one is the best option. These are some places where we are using spike. Now let's come to the topic of enablers and exploration stories. So we know now spike and we know the places where we can estimate. So now let's try to recall the basic rule. What is the basic rule? The basic rule is when we are having sufficient information and when we don't have uncertainties and we know what is exactly the work that we need to do as part of that story or as part of the work item, then we are good to estimate that. In cases where we are unclear, where we have uncertainties, where we have missing information, where we have missing details from definition of ready, we are in a situation not to estimate. So two categories where we can estimate, where we cannot estimate. But in certain places, there is a challenge. What is the challenge? We may not have sufficient information, but we need to somehow start the work because somewhere we need to start. And when we say somewhere we need to start, what is the estimation factor we are going to use there? There should be somewhere an estimation factor. That is the catch. In Spike, what are we doing? Even though we are unclear, even though we don't have sufficient information, we are doing some kind of research, we are doing some kind of exploration. What we generally do, we pick up a time frame. When I say we pick a time frame, either it can be a week or it can be a sprint time. Based on the complexity of the work, on the nature of the project where we are working, we can use this time. And this time is going to be a kind of fixed one. Whenever we say that there is a spike that we are going to work, it is going to be either a week time or it's going to be a sprint time. It again varies from project to project. Even you can decide like only 3 days we will be working for the research activity, and then wherever we are, we will stop there and we will pick up from there as an implementation story. That is also feasible. So that is the cadence we use in cases where we are going with spike, where we have unclear information. Same is going to be applicable in cases where we cannot estimate, but we are in a situation to start the work. So those kind of situations, we will start the work and we will be picking up the thing called as a time frame. And that time frame is going to help us to explore the topic. Okay, this all things are clear about spike, estimation, non-estimation topics, everything is clear. But where exactly this technical enablers and exploration topics coming into picture? Okay, let's try to understand that. So we know now there is something called as estimatable work items, and there is something called as non-estimatable work items. So only challenge comes where non-estimatable work items, we cannot place it like that. Somewhere we need to start. So what we will be doing, we will take that exploration topic or research topic with the help of a spike, and those topics actually will fit in a time frame. That time frame is completely based on the project, nature of the work, nature of the team. It can be a week, it can be a sprint time, it can be only a few days. It's up to the team. Now, first thing is, whenever we are creating the work items in the product backlog, we should know and decide the type of the work item we need to select. That's why I explained all these things, because always the confusion comes. Hey, no, I'm writing an exploration story. The title is going to be something called as enabler or something called as research, because you can create any different issue types in whatever the tool you use. It may be Jira or it can be Azure DevOps. Any tool that we use for agile management, we can create any number of issue types. We can create research spike, we can create spike, we can create enablers, we can create uh, uh, research topics, exploration stories, any name you can call it with. But the basic rule is this: when you are creating the work item in the product backlog, let's try to understand, are we in a situation to put all the details that is going to help the team to estimate? If in situations where team is not having sufficient information, but still we are in a situation to start the work, we call it a spike or whatever the name we give. But let's ensure that this is going to be a work item which goes under the time frame, which cannot be estimated as well. So let me try to conclude with some kind of uh, quick information about this topic. So the first thing is, there is a basic rule which is called as what are the work items that can be estimated and what are the work items that cannot be estimated. When we say what are the work items that can be estimated, when we estimate and represent it with the help of story points. And when we say we are able to estimate, we use different factors like what is the business value, complexity, amount of work done, dependencies, risk, all the things get into picture when we are estimating. So for all these things, we need to have clear information and complete clarity about the work what we have picked up for estimation. If we are unclear, if we have lot of uncertainties, we are not so sure about the work that we are going to do, we are in a situation where we cannot estimate. That's the trouble. So now how to eliminate that? Somewhere we need to but start the work as well. We cannot wait till we kind of clear all the uncertainties, because to clear the uncertainties as well, we need to start somewhere. So where to start and how to start, that's where we call them a spike. And when we say we are calling them a spike, we are going to do the exploration, research, and do all the analysis, feasibility study, everything over there. And when doing that, we are eliminating the uncertainties. So how much time we are going to take for this? Because we cannot forever work on this, right? Because we don't know how much time it is going to take, because we are in a situation not to estimate this work, because we have uncertainties. That's why we fix a time frame. So now we are clear about what is estimation, where we cannot estimate. Now this is the trick. Whenever you are creating a issue type, let's ensure what are the issue types where you can estimate and what are the issue types we cannot estimate. Make it very simple. Have one spike or exploration topic or enabler. What is estimatable, what is non-estimatable? All the estimation things will come with story points. All the non-estimation things will go with the time frame. So when you are creating these work items in the product backlog, you need to really ensure which one is going to which bucket, or whether it is in a situation where all the information is available so that we can estimate or not. We should make it clear. According to that, we should select the issue type. Name can be anything. You can have, instead of spike, or you can have spike, and in addition to that you can have enablers. But ensure for your team, enabler means what? What are we enabling? Are we enabling with the sufficient information, or are we going to research and enable certain things? If we are clear with the goal and if we don't have uncertainties, it comes under the bucket of estimatable work item. So we should represent it in story points. Whereas we are enabling by doing some research, by doing some analysis, by doing some feasibility study, then it comes under the bucket of non-estimatable. In those cases, we need to fix the time frame. So this is the difference. So do not complicate which issue type and what is the name. Always stick to the rule that whether you can estimate, you have sufficient information, whether you know the goal or not. In other case, we need to start the work, but I don't have sufficient information. Then what should I do? I should fix to some time frame and start working on it. That's the difference between these two things of estimating the work items. I hope this episode would have made many of you clear about this estimation topic in different work items like enabler and exploration stories. Thank you everyone for listening. Happy learning and stay tuned.